2NC. Disadvantage 1. Our ally Israel is already on the brink of war with the Middle East. Subpoint A. Israel and Hamas are on the brink of war in Gaza. Brianna Jones, staff writer, CNN, November 24, 2012, Wednesday, October 9, 2013. 4 years after the last major conflict in the region, Israel and Hamas have once again been on the brink of war in Gaza, though an Egypt-brokered ceasefire appears to be holding paving way for peace talks in the future. The goal of Hamas is an Islamic fundamentalist Palestinian state. Its manifesto advocates the destruction of the state of Israel and calls for the raising of the banner of Allah over every inch of Palestine. Subpoint B. Israel and Syria on the edge of war, Syria vowing retaliation. Michael Snyder, Economic Collapse, LLM from University of Florida, May 5th, accessed October 9th. An Israeli strike in Damascus that reportedly was attempting to destroy a shipment of Fatah 110 missiles that Iran was sending to Hezbollah has brought Israel and Syria to the brink of war. In fact, Syria is calling the airstrike a declaration of war and is vowing retaliation. The Syrian government is saying that Israeli aggression opens the door to all possibilities, but they have not provided any specifics about what they plan to do. Meanwhile, Israel has made it very clear that they will do whatever is necessary to keep Fatah 110 missiles from getting in the hands of Hezbollah. Subpoint C. Syria is prepared to open doors to let anti-Semitic groups bomb Israel. Aaron Klein is WND's senior staff reporter and Jerusalem bureau chief. WND, May 5th, 2013, access October 9th. The Syrian government will soon declare its opening borders with Israel for Palestinian and other jihad groups to carry out attacks against the Jewish state, a senior Syrian official told WND. According to those officials, Islamic Jihad and the Iranian-backed Hezbollah are coordinating a possible reaction to Israel's reported strikes. Meanwhile, Iran has instructed the Al-Quds unit of the Revolutionary Guard to prepare a response to Israel's reported airstrikes Sunday and Friday and get Syria targets, according to informed Middle Eastern security officials. The official speaking to WND said Syria and Iran are determined to respond to the Israeli strikes. Subpoint D. Israeli attacks will provoke a response from Iran and Hezbollah. International Business Times, May 5th, access October 17th. Tehran has officially reached its final decision to respond to the recent alleged Israeli airstrike on Syria by turning the Golan into a new Fatah land. The front has become open to Syrians and Palestinians and anyone who wants to fight Israel, reported the Lebanon-based daily Al-Akhbar. The latest developments have come after Nasrallah vowed to respond to Israelis' attacks on Syria, while Assad pledged to supply Hezbollah with new and quality weapons, apparently alluding to chemical weapons. Disadvantage 2. Striking Syria will push Middle East conflict to war. Subpoint A. Attacking Syria forfeits headway with Iran on its nuclear program. Genevieve Abdo of the Stimson Center and Brookings Institution, Al Jazeera, published September 10th, last access September 29th. But President Barack Obama does indeed attack Syria, with or without congressional approval. He will forfeit an opportunity to make headway with Iran over its nuclear program, risk allowing Tehran once again to reap the greatest benefit from Washington's military excesses in the Middle East. Subpoint B. U.S. aggression will empower the hardliners across the Middle East. Genevieve Abdo of the Stimson Center Brookings Institution, Al Jazeera, September 10th, access October 17th. The U.S. has much to lose and Iran has much to gain if Obama authorizes a unilateral attack, even if the attack has international backing. Not only will Iran appear to be justified in whatever action it takes, the U.S. aggression will also empower the hardliners across the Middle East and in Iran by providing a credible ideological anti-colonialist argument for increasing violence. Subpoint C. Intervention will throw international law out of balance. Vladimir Putin, Russian President, New York Times, September 11th, access September 15th. The potential strike by the United States against Syria, despite strong opposition from many countries and major political religious leaders, including the Pope, will result in more innocent victims and escalation, potentially spreading the conflict far beyond Syria's borders. A strike would increase violence and unleash a new wave of terrorism. It could undermine multilateral efforts to resolve the Iranian nuclear program and the Israeli-Palestinian conflict and further destabilize the Middle East and North Africa. It could throw the entire system of international law and order out of balance. Disadvantage 3. Israel and Middle East war will lead to global degradation. Subpoint A. Middle East terrorist groups will launch attacks and get U.S. involved. William Dermody, editor of World News at USA Today, August 31st, access September 14th. Terrorist groups in the Middle East such as Hamas and Hezbollah will launch attacks against U.S. targets in the region and U.S. allies. Those targets can include bases such as the port for the U.S. Navy's Fifth Fleet in Tehran. Subpoint B. The U.S. strike will increase violence and lead to more Assad support. Phyllis Bennis, fellow of the Institute for Policy Studies and of the Transnational Institute in Amsterdam, Al Jazeera, September 2, 2013, access October 7. A U.S. military strike on Syria will increase levels of violence and instability inside the country, in the region, and around the world. Inside Syria, aside from immediate casualties and damage to the already shattered country, reports are coming in of the thousands of Syrian refugees returning from Lebanon to stand with their government when the country is under attack. It could lead to greater support to the brutal regime in Damascus. In Kosovo, more Kosovars were forcibly expelled from their homes by the Syrian regime after the NATO bombing began than had happened before it started. Syrian civilians could face similar retaliation from the government. I now stand open for cross-examination.
So can you explain to me the story of the first disadvantage? Israel somehow is gonna, what's the story? How are we gonna get to a war with Israel?
Well, it says that our first disadvantage argues that Israel is already on the brink of the war with the Middle East. It shows by...
and your evidence suggests that Israel has already bombed Syria, correct?
Yes, correct.
And they did it like 2 months ago, right?
Yes.
And in that since we bombed them, and why did we bomb Syria? Why did Israel bomb
Because
them?
of the Fado 110 missiles that could strike Tel Aviv with a high degree of accuracy.
And they thought Syria was giving those to whom?
Hezbollah.
That's right. And all this rhetoric of, oh, when you do stuff, we're going to retaliate, we're going to retaliate. What retaliation has happened in the last 2 months?
Well, it shows that Syria and Hezbollah are prepared to take whatever means.
Right, I know they keep saying that they're going to retaliate, and they keep threatening to retaliate, but Israel actually bombed Syria, right? And was there any empirical retaliation?
No, there was none.
Okay. The evidence that you read about Israel says that Israel is committed to making sure that these chemical weapons don't spread outside of Syria, right?
Yes.
So if the United States doesn't attack Syria, which is what you're saying, you don't want the affirmative to do this, doesn't your evidence indicate that if we don't do it, Israel will?
Yes, but how does that prove?
Fantastic. So I'd like to know what the negative stance is. Are you arguing that it's better to have the status quo happen and have Israel attack Syria? Or is it better to do the affirmative and let the United States do it and avoid Israel doing it? What's better?
The affirmative should avoid.
So it's better for Israel to strike Syria than the United States to strike Syria?
If the United States were to strike Syria, it could entice Iran and Hezbollah to come to the aid of Syria, and therefore...
Okay, good. Thank you.